Okay, great. So I guess we are live now. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the session of app development with XML and Java. We'll be beginning in a few seconds. We'll let others join as well. So we'll hang around a little bit and see and let others join in as well. So I guess now we can begin. All right then. So hello everyone. My name is Dhruv Mehta and I am the Android lead at GDSC VIT Bhopal and also the Postman student leader of our college. So today I'm really happy and proud to announce that I have with me two of the efficient members of the Android technical team of GDSC VIT Bhopal. So, guys, would you like to introduce yourself?
So, hello everyone, my name is Tanay Dwivedi. I'm in a second year student in VIT Bhopal. I'm also a technical team member of Android team in GDSC VIT Bhopal. Thank you.
Hey, my name is Shankar Lohar from Android team of GDSC VIT Bhopal, a second year student of Artificial Intelligence and Machine Learning.
Great. Thank you, both of you. So now coming on to today's session. So basically, like yesterday, we learned how you can create a very simple but an extremely useful application to count your footsteps using your phone sensors, Kotlin, and Jetpack Compose. So today we are, trying to notch it up, and we are going to notch it up by building a slightly different and a complex application which has some integrated stuff into it. For the sake of simplicity, we will be having this session in Java programming language because most of you are very much familiar and comfortable with Java only. So you will get to know about the project and the app and everything in a few minutes when we will jump into building the part. Now, we have discussed up till now that we will be having this session and we will be building apps and we will be helping you all. But why are we doing so? Like, what is the motive behind this? So, to make it clear, the motive of this session is to help you in getting started with building Android apps for Solution Challenge. But now the question comes, what is Solution Challenge? So Solution Challenge is a mission to solve one or more of the United Nations 17 Sustainable Development Goals using any of the Google technologies. Like basically there are a lot. Basically the Android application is a technology of Google. The TensorFlow which you might be using in your AI ML part is of Google. So all of these technologies integrating themselves and creating a solution which can help in any of the sustainable development goals. So that is the main motive of Solution Challenge. The good thing about this is that Solution Challenge is exclusively open to members of Google Developer Students Club. So if you haven't registered for Google Developer Students Club, you should definitely register. Or if you are a part of GDSC of any GDSC, but here we are talking about GDSC VIT Bhopal. So if you are part of GDSC VIT Bhopal, you should surely go ahead and build something using Google technologies, which you can put in Solution Challenge. The last date to submit a solution is by March 31st, 2022. And more details regarding this you can find in the chat, in the live chat as well. So you can definitely go ahead and check out whatever necessary details you want regarding Solution Challenge. So that would be my introduction part for today's session. Now I would like to invite Tanay to take it over from here, and we can start with the awesome session. So Tanay, you can now start, and all the best.
Thank you, Dhruvya.
Thank you, Bhaiya.
So, So today we will be building an Android application using Java as our programming language. Basically, in this application, we will be building a login and sign up app using Firebase as our backend storage part. After completing this session, you will be able to learn to build the splash screen, login and sign up UI, login and sign up forms with functionalities of the same. You will also be able to build the login with Google and Facebook and GitHub functionalities in your mobile application, which will place your project to the position higher than the others. So now let's get started. Hmm. Let me share my screen first. My screen visible?
Up till now, it's not visible, but it should be visible in a moment.
So
Yeah, now it's visible.
so so first we will now so let's start building. Now first we'll click on the new project. Then after that go to the empty activity. Click on next. Now name of the application as login and sign up application. Login and sign up app. Click on finish. Now, while the Gradle build is running, I will show you how our app will look like after completion. So just wait, give me a second. So after completion, uh, our app, this will be a splash screen which will be shown to the users for 3 seconds. Now we will be redirected to the login screen. This will be our login screen where you can enter your email address and password if you are already the part of our application. If you are new user, click on the new user button where you can fill all your details and click on the sign up. You can also click on the sign in with Google, also sign in with Facebook also, and sign in with GitHub also. So this will be our app review. Now let's get started. Here the Gradle is built. Now firstly we will change the name of the activity to splash screen, like splash screen. Then we go to the rest folder, click on the layout, and change the name of it of also activity underscore splash underscore screen. Next, now come to the splash screen code part. We will clear this and add a background. Firstly, we will add a new directory to this res folder as Android resource directory, uh, which will name as font and give the resource value as font. Click on OK. We'll build another uh, Android resource directory as raw and give the resource type as raw. Click on OK. Now I will just take some of the resources I've collected like this and paste it on the font like this. So this all the resources are here. Now I will take all the raw resources from my file like this and paste it in the raw folder. Then we will add the splash background screen also to the drawable folder. So this will be a splash background screen which I have already made up. We will copy it and add into the drawable folder like this. Okay. We will also be adding a XML file which is basically the wave file which will be shown in both the login and sign up screens. So we will just paste it here. Next, we will add the dependency in our Gradle build.gradle module file here. So our dependency is basically the Lottie dependency, which we'll be using for the animation purposes. And click on the sync now, and it's completely synced. Now we will add Firebase to the project. Click here on the Firebase, then it's loading. Click on the authentication and then authenticate using Google Sign. Now first we have to connect with the Firebase. It's connecting. So while it's connecting, we will add a background to our splash screen as drawable splash background like this. And to the splash screen, we will add some code. Uh, we will add some code like get windows dot set flags window manager dot layout parents dot black full screen, and copy paste the same again like this after the comma. So here we can see the build is done. Now we will connect it to the Firebase. So this will be our app. Let's connect. Now it's connected. Then we will add the Firebase authentication dependencies to our application. Like this, click on here and it will automatically add the dependency to your app project. Now it's added. See, both the tick signs are there. Now, now coming to the splash screen part. Next, next we will add objects dot require non-null, uh, require non-null, then get support action bar dot hide. This will basically hide our action bar in the splash screen. Next, we will write new handler dot post delete new runnable. Basically, what it will do, it will redirect us to the login screen. Intent, intent, new intent, splash screen dot this to login screen dot class. This will be make afterwards. Next, start activity, intent, next and finish, because we don't want the to show the users again and again the splash screen when they open. Finish. Now here we will add the time for how much time. So I will add 3 seconds here and a comma. So our splash screen is completed. Now red arrow is showing because the login screen we haven't written. So we will add the login, add a new class activity as empty activity, name it as login screen, and click on the finish button. Now firstly we will add the XML part of the login screen. Firstly we will add the background as white. Now next I will just copy paste the login part here. So firstly our view will be displayed like this. Next this like this will be displayed. Next again another view which will contain the basically the waves that I've added to the background.xml file. Then a card view like this, and then we will add a card view containing email address like this. Then we will add this line also, complete it. Now again a card view containing the password section like this. Basically this will be our design till now. Next we will add the card view like this. We will add the text view. Next we will then add the Google button containing the animation. So now the errors are showing because we haven't added the string. Let's first add the string part also. So here go to the values strings, and I also have the resources for this also. go to the string part, and basically these will the strings we will be using to build our application. Now all the errors are gone. Next, after that we will be giving the Facebook button, Facebook login. Then we will be adding the GitHub animation like this. After that, we will be adding the text view where user can enter their values. Here we will be adding the text view. Next, we will be adding again the edit text for where user can enter their password. So till now this is our screen that's made. Next, there's again a text view. Here we'll copy and just here. Basically our login sign up screen is completed like this. So this will be our login sign up screen. Now next, uh, coming to our login screen like this, and firstly we will add some variables like text view as new user and login. Then we will again add a card view as GitHub. Then edit text, email, and password. Next, we will be adding Firebase Auth. We will be adding Firebase Auth as and import the class Firebase Auth and name of the variable as mauth. Next, we will be adding the override condition first, like @override. Here, then here we will adding like object dot require null dot require null and get support action bar dot hide like this. Then login find view by id r dot id dot login button. Then after that we'll be adding email as find view by id r dot id dot email button, email login like this. Then password as find view by id r dot id dot email login view. Then we'll authorize the Firebase as auth equals to Firebase auth dot get instance. Then we will adding if the user click on the new user button, the user should be redirected to the next sign up page. So that also we will add find view by id r dot id dot new user register. Next, when the user clicks, we will add the set on click listener like set on click listener new view on click listener, just click on the enter button. Then here start activity, new intent, import the class, new intent, login, screen dot this to sign up screen dot class. We'll be making it later. After that, we will be adding a GitHub. GitHub equals to find view by ID r dot id dot GitHub, and after that, uh, GitHub dot set on click listener new view on click listener. Click on it. We will be redirected again uh, here. So first we will be adding if the conditions, if email dot get text dot to string dot equals what is empty, then a toast will be sent like toast string error occurred. And if there is if the email text is not empty, then else. Now now we will be going to the documentation part. So this will be the Firebase authentication using GitHub. Now firstly we will copy this and add it here. Import all the classes first, like this. After that we will be clicking here and paste it. Here instead of your login email, we will write email dot get text dot to string, like this. After that we will be copying this part and pasting it here, like this. Now importing all the classes first, like this. Now after clicking on and completing the list part, we will then copy this whole paragraph, like this. Importing all the things, import class, changing the Firebase auth name as auth, which we have done it earlier. Then importing the task, then importing the on failure listener, on success listener, and that on null exception also. Now if the user cannot sign in from the GitHub, an error should be shown to the user. So this will be the error part, like this. Here we will change the Firebase auth name as auth, and we will remove this to login screen dot this to login screen. Now we will handle all the errors. So if we handle errors, we will give the toast that error occurred. So we will copy it here and just paste it here. Simply we will do like this here also, like this. Then sign up screen is showing in error because we haven't made it. So we will make a sign up screen also. Go to the activity, empty activity, click make a sign up screen, like this. Click on the finish. So now all our errors are gone. Now integrating the Firebase first, login here, go to the authentication part, set up a sign in method, email password sign in, save, add a new provider. I will be showing you GitHub also, so enable. Now we will be requiring a client ID and the client secret. For that we will be going to our GitHub account, go to settings, go to the developer settings, Auth apps. Now we will create a new Auth app. Application name is login and sign up. Now we will be requiring a homepage URL, so just give the homepage URL of the GitHub. Now we have to give the authorized callback URL also. So for that we have to just copy this part and paste it here like this. Register application. Now after registering, it will give us the client ID like this. Client ID will be shown. We will just copy the client ID here, and now we will generate a new client secret. Client secret is now generated, and I will copy it like this and click on the save button. Now our authentication with email, password, and GitHub is done. Now I will show you the Signup XML part also. So coming to the layout and Signup XML part like this. We'll split it again. Background is white. Next, I also have the resources for this also. So this is the sign up part. Firstly, we will add the view like this. And then the wave part, which I have already added to our resources like this. After that, adding the card view like this. Again, a card view having the full name card and the animations for the name. So till now our design is looking like this. Next, we will be adding an edit text over the edit text having the property as entering the name. Next, we will add a card view with the property of entering the age. Here, card view. Next, we will add the edit text like this and copy it here. Till now our design is looking like this. Next, we will adding the edit text having firstly we will add the card view of email like this. Next, we will add the edit text having email like this. Then we will be adding the edit text having the password part like this. After that, we will be adding the card view again having the sign up button option. Next, we will add a text view displaying the name sign up button on the app like this. So our sign up part is done. Sign up XML UI is done. Now I will go make a UI for the home screen also. So just go at activity, empty activity, and rename it to home screen. In this also UI also I will do. So we'll just split it and add the background white and adding the lottie animation showing a robot saying hello. So we will add this lottie animation here. So basically this will be a robot saying hello. So the UI part is done. Now the rest part will be shown by Shankar. Thank you.
Thank you, Tanay, for this amazing UI.
Thank you.
He always comes up with something new every time. You can check out our project at the GitHub of GDSC. So let's just take an overview of what is left in this login sign up application. We see these two card views, one for Google and another for Facebook. And on top, we have a login text view and two edit text fields. What I'm going to do now is set up everything in the login screen activity first. And to make the tabs on this pseudo button work, I'm going to set on click listeners to them. So I'll go to my login screen.java. So here I will need a reference for Google and Facebook as the variables are already declared. I will simply find them with their IDs like this. find you by ID dot ID dot login with Google button. And for Facebook, now I can set click listeners on 3 of them. So let me do that now. I'll just copy it and paste it for the other two. Now, okay. It's fine to not know every line of code we use in detail, just an overview works. So I will leave the login listener empty for some time now and direct the Google and Facebook listener to new activities. Why? If I write all the code here on the login screen activity, it will be a big mess. And if an error occurs, we won't be able to find it. So I'll just make a new package here and I'll name it authentications. Now I will create two empty activities, one for Facebook and another for Google authentication. Here we don't need any layout for this as we are using these for just authentication and we don't want to show anything to the user. So I'll delete this. I did that by mistake. I'll remove this set content view line and I'll create the Google one. Now here I'll come back to login screen and direct the listener to the new activities we created. So I'll just write start activity, new intent, and I'll change the intent from login screen to Google for here, Google Auth, and I'll copy and paste this for Facebook too, and change the Google Auth to Facebook, Facebook Auth. Oh, okay. So I have written Facebook, so I'll do Facebook, or I can refactor it, Facebook Auth. Okay. Now, for the logging test view listener, we just need to write one function from the Firebase documentation. So I will simply search Firebase authentication with password Android on Google. And I'll open the first link. Now, if I follow the documentation step by step, it first asks me to add Firebase to our project and enable the email password sign in. So I will simply go to my Android Studio, Tools, Firebase, and then I'll go to Authentication. Authentication, and then custom authentication for email and password, and then I'll tap connect to Firebase. With this button, it will first be built, so let's just wait till it syncs. While it syncs, I would like to answer a question that why we are using the Firebase. Google Firebase offers many features that that pitch it as the go-to backend development tool for web and mobile applications. It reduces development workload and time. So that is the big reason we use Firebase often in our project. So we will wait till it builds. Okay, so it is taking some time. So meanwhile, um, I will go to Firebase console. Here, Tanay has already created a solution challenge series project, so I'll use this one. I'll go to authentication and sign in methods. And here I will add all the required methods that are email, password, Google, and Facebook. So first I will enable the email password. Okay, that's done. Next, I will enable the Google one. The Google one requires your email for support, so make sure you fill in that. Okay, so here the Gradle is built. I can simply connect to the Firebase. The solution challenge series one. Okay, so it is now connected. Now, for this Facebook one, we require app ID and app secret. So for this, I will simply go to developerfacebook.com. Click on My Apps and I will simply create an app. This is very simple. Just follow the readings or follow me. Now, after filling up all of that, we need the app ID and secret. We can find that in the settings basic. So let's take settings and basic. As you can see, let's just copy these two from here and paste it in the Firebase. And make sure you enable that. Now there is this one more thing to do. We need to add this authentication URI to our Facebook app. We just we just created. So I will simply copy this and save this one and go and open the developer Facebook and go to dashboard and look for Facebook login setup. Here it is. Then find settings for Facebook on the left panel and paste it there. There is the Facebook and settings, and I will paste that URI here and save it. Now I will save everything and go back to Quick Start Android. From here, Facebook login, below the settings, Quick Start, and then I'll open up this Android. Okay, so now we are on three different tasks simultaneously, the email authentication, Facebook, and Google one. So let's check out the documentation for email one first. So as we are done with the setup, I will scroll down to sign in a user with email and password. Here we get three code snippets to make the email password authentication work. So the first code snippet is to declare a Firebase authentication variable and then initialize it with these lines of code. The second code snippet is to check if the user has already logged in previously. If he is logged in, then this current user variable will not be null and we can redirect the activity to the home screen activity. That is the main activity we are building these authentications for. The third one is the main function, as straightforward as the name suggests, sign in with email and password, which takes two parameters, email and password, and the user will be signed in if he is already registered. Now, when this process is completed, we want to know and act according to that. So here is an onComplete listener with the main function, and if the task is successful, we move to home screen according to our application. If not, we show the authentication failed message. So I'll go back to my login screen activity. So Tanay has already written the first and second step. So I will just take the sign in with the email password function and paste it on the on-click event listener for login text view. Now here we need to get text from the email and password reference and convert it to string. And for a better user experience, I will be using trim function to just trim the white spaces from the end and start. In the place of this tag, we need to provide the name of the activity we are in, which will help us to find the errors in the log files in case we come across one. So I will simply create a field for this log as a string and assign it the name of the activity we are in. Okay, that's not log, that's tag variable. I'm sorry. Okay. Now for this update UI, I will create this function outside and simply change the activities if the user is logged in. So here I can simply write if user not equals to null and I'll change the activity here. Start activity, new, intent, and change from login screen.this to home screen dot class. And uh, for better user experience, I'll add a toast too. So I can write a logged in successfully. Okay. Now I will change this default email password activity to login screen. So we are done with setting up the login activity. Now we need to complete the Facebook and Google authentication, and finally we will set up the sign up activity. So for this Google activity, the process is similar to that of the password one. We have all the dependencies set up for the Google sign in from the previous login with password. There is this one extra thing here, that is the SHA-1 fingerprint. So SHA-1 is just a security hash algorithm we are using here to verify the ownership of this application. That's it. So I will add this SHA-1 fingerprint to our Firebase. I'll go to Gradle, Task, Android, and this sign in report. And I'll copy this from here and open up Firebase and go to project settings. So I have already added my SHA-1, but you can add it like this one. Click on add fingerprint and paste your SHA-1 key here and save. Now simply go to Google sign in from the left panel on the documentation. Now, as you can see here, we have 6 code snippets to just copy and paste. So I will not copy paste it from here. I have already fixed all the variables and small things to save our time. So I will simply use that snippet and do Alt Enter to fix all the imports required. Okay, so I can Alt Enter this. It is first importing the dependencies and then it will import the required things. Okay, so we have this one red error. Don't worry about this default web client ID. Actually, what happens is Android Studio sometimes fail to pass the client ID from this Google service .json that we get here. So on runtime, it won't be any error. So the Google authentication is done. Now for Facebook, I will look at the developer Facebook documentation and start from step 4, as I have already pre-written code snippets from that documentation similar to Google Auth. Now this requires our hash key, but in a different format. So I'll simply search and open hash to base 64 and paste the converted one here. So I'll get my hash key again. I'll copy this from here and paste it and save and continue. Now for the next step, we have already enabled sign in our app in Firebase. So let's move forward. Next. Here for the sixth step, we will just add the Facebook app ID string to string resources, and we can get the app ID from here on the top navigation. So I'll simply copy this Facebook app ID string and paste it on my app string resources, and I'll get the app ID and paste it here. Okay. So there are two more things, that is this metadata and this internet permission. So let's add that metadata for the application ID. So this need to be added in our manifest. Make sure you paste the metadata inside the application tag and this internet permission outside the application tag. Um, uh, there is something to that you need to know about manifest. That manifest manages permissions and resource linking to the operating system. And the string resource is like storing all our string with reference to a variable. So now I will use the code snippet I have already created for Facebook auth. But first, we need to add the dependency for Facebook from step 2 of the documentation. So I will simply copy and paste it in build Gradle for app and sync it. So here is the dependency. I'll open my build Gradle for the app and paste it here and sync. Let's wait till it syncs. Okay. If there were any imports required, I could have just alt entered and the imports will be done, would have been done. The final thing now is to turn on the development button on the top navigation of the Facebook developer Facebook. So let's turn that on. So now this requires a privacy policy. So let's go with the a message. Go to basic, and here I need to paste the privacy policy. So as it is asking for the privacy policy, so let's make one privacy policy with freeprivacypolicy.com, and you can follow along the how I do it. So I'll go to free privacy policy and click on generate. Okay, this is for an app solution challenge India, Madhya Pradesh. Okay. We don't want a professional privacy policy. Next. Okay, generate. So we got the privacy policy. So I'll copy this and paste it here. Let's save. Okay. Now I can turn it on Okay, switch mode. So that's it. Now let's move to the home screen activity to set up the logout. Here I want to tap on the hello animation and logout. So for that I will need a reference to the animation. So I will declare a Lottie animation view variable logout as it is a Lottie type. So Lottie animation view and I'll name it logout. Now I will find it by ID, which is logout as Tane has defined, and set on-click listener on it. Now I will simply use a code snippet from the Firebase documentation that I remember. So Firebase auth dot get instance sign out and change the activity to login screen with a bye bye toast. So let's change the activity, start activity, new intent, and we are in home screen dot this. We need to import this intent. So alt enter home screen dot this to I'll go back to login screen dot class and I'll raise a toast for bye bye. That's it for the logout. Now we are done with Google, Facebook, and password authentication with logout. The only thing we are left with in this login sign up application is our custom sign up page. Now for this, I will go back to the password authentication in Firebase documentation. From the left panel, this password authentication, we can close this. Okay. If you look around the signup XML, we need reference to 4 edit text for name, age, email, password, and one text view, which is our sign up button. Now with this sign up activity, we expect two things. The first one is sign up the user, and the second one is to keep these 4 data of the on the Firebase real-time database. So we will start with signing up the user. I will simply take references to text view and edit text. Alt enter to import. Text is sign up and edit text, name, age, email, and password. Now I can get reference to them. So I will simply type name, find view by ID, r.id dot name sign view as Tane has written, age, find view by id r.id dot age sign view. I can simply copy these for email and password. Email sign view, password sign view. So I'll take reference for the sign up button. Sign up, find view by id r.id dot sign up button and set on click listener on it. Sign up dot set on click listener new view on click listener. Now here in the click listener, I will check for empty passwords and then use the sign up code snippet. You can also add different things like using a regex to verify the email and set up password length or other parameters. So I've already created the on click listener event. So I will simply copy paste it and add the declaration from the documentation. I'll copy paste the code for sign up here. And let's get the declarations from here. So we can alt enter the required imports. Alt enter this text util, alt enter the toast, alt enter first one, alt enter, alt enter this log, alt enter, alt enter the intent. Now the sign up is also complete. The final thing we need is to add the database. So let's set up the Firebase for the database first. So I have already set up the real-time database. When you will first create the real-time database, there will be a button to get started. You just tap on that and it will be open. And I have changed the rules. By default, they are false. I have changed them to true for reading and writing. Now I'll open the Android Studio and go to Tools, Firebase. And I will add the dependencies from the button. So real-time database, get started, and I'll add the dependencies, accept changes. We'll wait while it syncs. Okay, so now we are going to create a data class to store name, age, email, and password. And we will pass this data class to the real-time Firebase database. So I'll make a new package called users and create a Java class with serialization, which is a mechanism of writing the state of an object into a byte string. So you can just follow along how I make the class. I'll create a package users. And inside the package, I'll create a simple Java class users. Okay. So I want to make this serializable. So I'll implement serializable. The parameters I require is string of name, age, email, and password. So for this serialization to work, we need an empty constructor. So I'll create an empty constructor, public users. Now we need a constructor with parameters. So I'll simply generate constructor. I'm holding the shift and clicking on the password so it selects all of them. Okay. Now I need the getter and setter methods too. So I'll simply generate getter and setter. Same, holding the shift and clicking on password. Okay. So that's the data class. Now we can create an instance of this. And if you see the assistance here, we just need to initialize and get an instance of the database and simply pass our data class to set values, which I have already pre-written to save time. I will just pause it here and use Alt Enter to import everything if required. So I'll Alt Enter the database reference, Firebase database. I'll Alt Enter to get the class that I have created, import class. So now everything is done. So I'll request Tane to run the application if possible.
Yeah, sure, I will be showing you. Sharing the screen in a second. Is my screen visible?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So open this. So basically, this will be a splash screen that I shown earlier. Now it has all the functionalities. Firstly, I am a new user, so I will register here, writing my name, Nivedi, reach, then writing the email address, writing a password also. Next, clicking on the sign up button. Here the database is created saying hello. Now if I click on this animation, I will be logged out. Now I've also have a function of login with Google. I will click on the login with Google button and then I will logged in. Again I will click on this animation, I will be logged out. I also have a functionality of login with Facebook. So I will click on the login with Facebook and click on the continue, and then I will log in with Facebook also. Next, login with GitHub also I can do. Firstly, we have to enter the email for the login with GitHub. I've entered the email. Next, click on the login with GitHub button. Then we have to authorize our app to the GitHub. Like this, we can authorize. And now uh, we are logged in. So this will basically our application like this. So if you have any doubts, you can ask in the chat section also. Thank you.
Anyone have a doubt?
If you don't have any doubt, you can go to the Discord of the GDSC also to ask your doubts there. And then can we end the stream?
Okay, so that's it from
So
our side.
thank you.
Thank you for tuning in.